The power goes out, the grid is down, your neighbors are fumbling for candles, and everyone's scrambling to charge their phones. But you walk out to your backyard, scoop up a handful of mud, grab some salt from the kitchen, and a bit of wire from your toolbox. Within minutes, you're generating electricity, enough to light up a room or keep your phone alive. No solar panels, no wind turbines, no expensive batteries. Just mud, salt, and wire. Sounds impossible, right? Most people have no idea this is even possible, let alone how shockingly simple it is. While everyone else is fighting over generators and solar chargers, you could be tapping into a hidden power source that's literally beneath your feet. This isn't just a quirky science experiment. It's a survival skill, a piece of forgotten knowledge that could make all the difference in an emergency. And the best part? You don't need a PhD, a fat wallet, or a trip to the hardware store. You already have everything you need. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how to unlock this secret. We'll dive into the science that's been overlooked, maybe even suppressed, and I'll walk you through every step so you can do it yourself. If you care about self-sufficiency, preparedness, or just love discovering hidden truths, you're in the right place. Let's get started. Let's face it, the modern power grid is a marvel, but it's also a house of cards. One bad storm, a cyber attack, or even just a blown transformer, and suddenly millions are left in the dark. We've all seen the headlines: rolling blackouts, wildfires knocking out entire regions, hurricanes leaving cities powerless for days or even weeks. And it's not just natural disasters. Every year, electricity bills creep higher, and we're told to accept it because, well, what choice do we have? We're hooked into a system run by massive utilities, and when the grid goes down, so does our way of life. But what if you didn't have to play by those rules? What happens when the grid goes down and you're left with nothing but what's around you? Most people panic, but a few see opportunity. The dream of true energy independence isn't just about saving money. It's about taking control, being prepared, and never being at the mercy of someone else's infrastructure. Mainstream solutions push us toward expensive solar panels, complicated wind turbines, or noisy gas generators. But why rely on expensive, complicated tech when nature offers a simpler way? The truth is, most preppers and DIYers miss this trick entirely. Nature is full of overlooked solutions, hidden power sources that don't make headlines or profit big companies. Today, we're going to dig into one of those secrets, and you'll see just how easy it is to break free from the grid's grip. So how on earth can mud, salt, and wire create electricity? It sounds like something out of science fiction, but this is real, proven, and shockingly simple. The secret lies in something called a microbial fuel cell, or MFC for short. Don't let the fancy name intimidate you. At its core, it's just a clever way to tap into the natural processes happening in the dirt beneath our feet. Here's what's really going on. Mud isn't just dirt and water. It's teeming with microscopic life, bacteria that are constantly breaking down organic matter. As these bacteria go about their business, they release electrons as a byproduct. Normally, those electrons just get absorbed back into the soil, never to be seen again. But what if you could catch those electrons and put them to work for you? Think of it like a tiny natural battery. In a regular battery, chemicals react to create a flow of electrons from one end to the other. In a microbial fuel cell, the bacteria in the mud do the same job. When you insert two different materials, like a piece of graphite and a piece of copper, into the mud, you create two electrodes. The bacteria transfer electrons to one electrode, the anode, and those electrons travel through your wire to the other electrode, the cathode, creating a small but steady electric current. Add a little salt to the mix, and you boost the conductivity, making it even easier for those electrons to flow. It's like giving the bacteria a superhighway to send their energy down. This isn't just a backyard trick. Scientists are using the same principle to power sensors in remote wetlands, and researchers are exploring ways to scale it up for real-world energy needs. Why isn't everyone talking about this? Maybe because it's so simple, or maybe because it doesn't fit the big business model. But the beauty is, you don't need a lab or a grant to try it. You can harness this hidden power source right at home using nothing but what's already around you. Here's the best part. You probably have everything you need already. No rare parts, no expensive gadgets, just everyday stuff you can find around the house, in your backyard, or at any local store. First, you'll need mud. That's right, just plain old mud. You can scoop it up from your backyard, a garden bed, or even a nearby pond. The richer and darker the mud, the better, since that means more organic material and more bacteria to do the work. Next, grab some table salt. Any kind will do. Salt helps the electricity flow more easily through the mud, boosting your results. For the wiring, all you need is some basic copper wire, left over from an old project, stripped from a broken appliance, or bought for pennies at a hardware store. For the electrodes, graphite is your secret weapon. You can use thick pencil leads, pieces from old batteries, or even chunks of BBQ grilled charcoal if you're in a pinch. Finally, you'll need a plastic container to hold everything together. An old food tub, a plastic bottle cut in half, or a storage bin will work just fine. Don't let lack of supplies stop you. This project is all about using what you have. not what you have to buy. Compared to the cost of solar panels or generators, this setup is practically free. Ready to turn mud into electricity? Follow along step by step, and you'll be amazed at what you can create with just a few simple materials. Miss a step, and you'll miss out on free power. So let's make sure you get the most juice from your setup. Step 1. Gather and prepare your materials. Start by collecting your mud. The best mud is dark, moist, and full of organic matter. Think garden soil, pond muck, or compost-rich earth. Avoid sandy or dry dirt, as it won't have enough bacteria. Fill your plastic container about 3/4 full with this mud. If it's too dry, add a little water until it's thick and squishy, but not soupy. Step 2. Add salt for conductivity. Sprinkle a generous amount of table salt into the mud. About a tablespoon per quart of mud is a good starting point. Mix it in thoroughly. The salt helps ions move more freely, which means more electricity can flow. Don't overdo it, though. Too much salt can actually harm the bacteria, so stick to a moderate amount. Step 3. Prepare your electrodes. Now, let's get your electrodes ready. Take your graphite, thick pencil leads, chunks of BBQ charcoal, or pieces from old batteries all work. Clean them off so there's no dirt or residue. For the other electrode, use copper wire. Strip the ends so you have a clean, shiny surface. If you want to maximize your results, twist several strands of copper together for a larger surface area. Step 4. Insert the electrodes. Push the graphite electrode deep into the mud, making sure it's fully surrounded. This will be your anode, where the bacteria will release electrons. Next, insert the copper wire electrode into the mud, but keep it closer to the surface, ideally just touching the top layer or even exposed to the air. This will be your cathode, where the electrons will flow to complete the circuit. Make sure the two electrodes don't touch each other inside the mud, or you'll short-circuit your battery. Step 5. Connect your circuit. Attach wires to each electrode, making sure you have a solid connection. Use alligator clips if you have them, or wrap the wire tightly around each electrode. Connect the free ends of the wires to a small device, like an LED light or a multimeter to measure voltage. If you see a reading or your LED glows, congratulations, you've just made electricity from mud. Step 6. Troubleshooting and optimization. If you're not getting any power, don't panic. Most tutorials skip this crucial detail: patience. Sometimes it takes a few hours for the bacteria to start producing a steady flow of electrons. If you still get nothing, check your connections, make sure your electrodes aren't touching, and try using fresher mud or adding a bit more salt. You can also try different electrode materials. Sometimes a bigger piece of graphite or a thicker copper wire makes a big difference. Step 7. Scaling up for more power. Want more juice? Build several mud batteries and connect them in series, just like stacking regular batteries. Connect the copper electrode of one cell to the graphite of the next, and so on. The more cells you add, the higher the voltage you'll get. You can also experiment with different container shapes, mud types, and electrode placements to see what works best for you. Remember, this isn't just a science project. It's a real working power source. Take your time, experiment, and don't be afraid to get your hands dirty. The more you tweak and test, the better your results will be. And once you see that first spark of light, you'll know you've tapped into a hidden power source that most people never even dream of. Now comes the moment of truth, testing your mud battery to see just how much power you can pull from the earth beneath your feet. You'll be surprised how much power you can get from such a simple setup. Start by connecting a multimeter to the wires coming from your electrodes. Set the meter to measure DC voltage. If everything's working, you should see a reading anywhere from 0.3 to 0.7 volts per cell, sometimes even higher depending on your mud and materials. It might not sound like much, but remember, this is just one cell. Stack a few together and you can easily reach 2 or 3 volts, enough to power small electronics. If you want a more visual test, try hooking up a low-power LED. LEDs typically need about 2 volts to light up, so you'll likely need to connect several mud batteries in series. If your LED glows, even faintly, you've succeeded in turning mud into electricity. For a more dramatic demonstration, try powering a small digital clock or a garden moisture sensor. These devices use very little current and are perfect for showing off your mud battery's capabilities. Don't settle for weak results. Here's how to make it work even better. First, make sure your electrodes are clean and have as much surface area as possible. Bigger pieces of graphite and thicker copper wire can make a noticeable difference. Second, keep your mud moist but not waterlogged. If it dries out, your output will drop. Third, experiment with different mud sources. Some soils are richer in organic material and bacteria, which means more power. Want to double your output with one simple tweak? Try aerating the top layer of mud around your cathode. Bacteria need oxygen to work efficiently, so exposing the cathode to air can boost your results. You can also try adding a bit more salt or using activated charcoal for the anode. Compared to other DIY energy sources like lemon batteries or solar garden lights, mud batteries are surprisingly robust. Lemon batteries dry out quickly and only last a few hours. Solar lights need sunshine, but your mud battery can keep going for days, even weeks, with just a little maintenance. With some patience and a bit of tinkering, you'll have a reliable, renewable power source that's as close to free as it gets. So what can you actually do with a mud battery? Imagine having light when everyone else is in the dark. Your mud battery can power emergency LEDs, giving you hours of illumination when the grid fails. It's not just about lighting either. With a few cells connected in series, you can charge small devices like a basic phone, run a radio, or keep a digital clock ticking. For preppers and off-grid enthusiasts, this could be a game changer for cabins, bug-out locations, or anywhere you need a backup power source that doesn't rely on the sun or fuel. Mud batteries also shine in powering sensors and low-energy electronics. Environmental researchers use them to run moisture sensors in remote wetlands, where changing batteries would be a nightmare. You can use the same principle to monitor your garden's soil or automate watering systems. No need for solar panels or extension cords. And for science, hobbyists, or homeschoolers, building a mud battery is a hands-on project that teaches real-world chemistry, biology, and engineering all at once. Of course, there are limitations. Mud batteries won't run your refrigerator or power tools, and they don't deliver the instant high wattage of a gas generator. But unlike lemon batteries that fizzle out in hours or solar lights that depend on the weather, mud batteries keep working as long as you keep the mud moist and the bacteria happy. They're silent, renewable, and practically free. Don't wait for disaster. Be ready now. Whether you're looking for a backup plan, a sustainable off-grid solution, or just a fascinating science experiment, mud batteries offer a unique edge. And as more people discover this hidden tech, the possibilities for innovation and independence only grow. If mud batteries are so simple and effective, you might be wondering, why isn't this technology everywhere? Is this technology being ignored on purpose? The truth is, there are a few reasons why you don't see mud batteries on store shelves or in mainstream energy conversations. First, there's the profit problem. Big companies make money selling you solar panels, generators, and batteries, products that require manufacturing, marketing, and constant upgrades. A mud battery, built from backyard dirt and household scraps, doesn't fit that business model. There's just not much money to be made when anyone can build their own power source for pennies. Second, mud batteries don't deliver the high power output that most commercial solutions promise. They're perfect for low energy needs, but they won't run your fridge or charge your electric car. That makes them easy for the mainstream to dismiss as just a science project. But for those who value independence, resilience, and creativity, that's missing the point entirely. Finally, there's simple public ignorance. Most people have never even heard of microbial fuel cells, let alone tried building one. Schools rarely teach this kind of hands-on practical science. The result? A powerful, renewable energy source is hiding in plain sight, overlooked by almost everyone. What else aren't we being told about free energy? Don't let the mainstream keep you in the dark. Sometimes the most valuable solutions are the ones that don't make headlines. Stay curious, keep questioning, and you'll keep finding new ways to take control of your own power. Now that you've built your first mud battery, don't stop here. This is just the beginning. The more you experiment, the more you'll discover. Try using mud from different locations, garden beds, riverbanks, or compost piles. Each source has its own unique mix of bacteria and organic matter, which can change your results in surprising ways. Swap out your electrodes. Maybe try stainless steel, aluminum, or even carbon rods from old batteries. You might find a combination that gives you a real boost in power. Think bigger with your container design. Larger tubs or creative shapes can increase the surface area for bacteria to work their magic. And remember, you can link multiple mud batteries in series or parallel to increase voltage or current, just like stacking regular batteries. This opens up possibilities for powering more demanding devices or running several gadgets at once. Be part of the movement. Share your results, your tweaks, and your discoveries with others. Post your builds online, join forums, or comment below with your successes and challenges. Every experiment adds to our collective knowledge and helps push this hidden technology further. Who knows? Your next breakthrough could inspire someone else to take control of their own power, too.